name is Patricia 𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐨𝐧. I'm the CEO of 𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐢𝐨𝐧 Limited, the organizers of the 𝐀𝐝𦑭t HR conference. I'm so happy that we are having this conference, especially in Kumasi. And as 𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐬𝐢𝐨𝐧 Consult as a company, we are committed to knowledge sharing, creating opportunity for networking, and ensuring that people in the HR profession advance in their careers. That is why we put together this conference, to give the opportunity to our HR practitioners to first of all learn about the new trends in the HR space, learn about how we can be innovative and creative in ensuring that we are impacting the organization. A lot of the times, HRs are seen as cost centers, but we want to change the narrative. And if we can do that, we need to be very creative. We need to also ensure that we are leveraging on technology to be able to impact or determine or demonstrate how we are contributing to the bottom line. In this dynamic landscape of human resources, we have gathered here together to explore the most pressing trends, challenges, and the opportunities. We know that HR has evolved, and we also know that technology has enabled us to evolve. And so if we don't embrace technology, it's going to be very difficult for us.
Tropical storms, flooding, wildfires, drought, shrinking fish catch. In a world of ever-increasing uncertainty, nothing is predictable. The smallest stumble or fumble easily ends in a mighty tumble, with your world crashing down around you. Don't crumble. 𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐢𝐨𝐧 always has your back. 𝐀𝐻𝐿𝐴, we cushion you for life.
We cushion you for life.
afternoon, everyone. My name is Esther Fafwami. I am a Human Resource Management, Industrial Relation, and Alternative Dispute Resolution, and we call it ADR Management Professional. I am honored to be part of this important discussion today. I know that those of us who have seen the flyer that has been advertised, today we are discussing creating a flexible and stable workforce, tips for HR leaders. It is very, very important for us to know as HR people, those of us who have been in the industry for some time and those who are starters, to know that the pace of change is unprecedented in our profession. So as HR people, we are tasked with the delicate art of balancing flexibility while ensuring that our workforce is stable. It's very, very important. So we are going to explore this today. We are going to navigate the complexities and the strategies that we need to create for our workforce to be both adaptable, resilient, and enhancing productivity and engagement. Because we all know that without an engaged workforce, we cannot achieve anything. And the human being that we are very, very connected. We transfer our emotions and our personal lives into our workplace because it's part of us. We cannot delink it. So it's very, very important for us to understand how we can be flexible around our work and our people that we manage and make provisions that will be able to function personally and professionally for organizations to grow. It's very, very important. I will be answering several pressing questions on this topic. So let's dive into it right away. Our time is only 1 hour, and our host, I think, is having a little hitch up on his network. So we'll start and he joins us. Today, I want us to discuss what are some of the key strategies that we as HRs will use to balance workforce flexibility with stability in today's rapidly changing work environment. As HRs, every day I say that you plan your day, especially when you are a business partner, when you are head of HR and you have teams under you or the whole department is on your shoulder. You plan your day strategically and get to the office, and other things that are not part of your program or part of your agenda or your to-do on that day comes up because HR is the manager of all managers in the organization. Everybody sees you as a father if you are a male or as a mother if you are a female. And from our personal lives to the professional, head of department are coming to you with their emergencies and things they think are on their front burners for you to handle. So we need to strategize and plan our work very well and manage our team leaders so that they will be able to make sure that we all achieve our objectives that will affect the bottom line. Because one of the things we are all looking at today is that we don't want to be a cost center as HR people. We want to be strategic partners to our company so that we will be able to help management at the meetings, at the organizations, at the company, so that we'll be able to achieve the objectives, because it's only the human beings that we work with. They are our competitive advantage in this global economy that we find ourselves. I want to start with a story. One of the days that I was heading towards the office, I was the head of HR for 3 companies. And whilst I was driving towards work, I had a call that said that my father was had a, what do we call it, prostate eruption that morning or at dawn. And I am the nearest person around, so they called. and I was already on my way to work. What do? I call my office and inform my boss that I have an emergency. He said, no, 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 come to the office first. I have something you have to do for me before. Come to the office. You know we have A, B, C to do today. You know we have this. There is an issue at the Labor Commission you need to deal with. Blah, 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 blah. So I couldn't return to attend to my father. So I have to call one of my friends a guy who normally helped me. I call him to go and pick a taxi and go to my daddy and take him to the hospital for me. When I get to the office, I will see what I can do and I'll run back to see him at the hospital. My stepmother wasn't around. He was only there with their houseboy. Oh. So when I got to the office that day, all the things I need to do, I couldn't do it well. Because one, I was just thinking what might be happening to my old man. When I got to the office, I spoke to my boss and I said, this is what I heard. He said, oh, okay, let's do, you leave at 12. Don't worry, let's do, you leave at 12. By the time we got to 10:30, he knew I can't do anything. Then he said, why? You are 4 people. What is happening today? Then I told him, I said my daddy is not fine. He said, okay, okay, then go. Because I can see that this is not you. You are not here.
Can you imagine?
So I left everything I was doing. Those I can give to my assistants to help me with, I gave to them, and I couldn't even drive. So I have to ask permission to use one of the drivers to drive me to Medimose's hospital to go and see my father. And while I was going, I said, if this man had given me the time to just return and take care of my father, those things I could have done it even remotely.
Yeah.
But he said no. And when I got to the office, I couldn't perform because my mind was messed up. All that I can think about is what might be happening to my father.
Yeah.
So it is very, very important for us as people who manage our teams and the organization to be able to understand the complexity of the human nature so that we'll be able to balance the flexibility and stabilize the team so that at every point in time, they'll be able to give us what they are supposed to and even more. So it's very, very important. I can see Kojo on call now. Kojo, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon. Good to see
Good
you.
afternoon. So I'm using this story as an intro so that we understand that we don't have to be so stiff in a jacket and build our policies in stone, that we will be able to adjust as and when it is important and needed for us to allow some balances here and there, because people can be at the office but not there. And I was just lucky, or my boss was lucky that day, that because we were working together, he could identify that I wasn't there in spirit and soul. It's only my body who was there, which was there, but my mind wasn't there. I was just thinking whether the guy was able to take my daddy to the hospital, the money I sent to mobile phone, was it sufficient? I was messed up. So it's very important that we know what we are up to as people and how to get the best out of our teams. Thank you very much. Let me leave Kojo to do his work. So Kojo, over to you.
Yes, thank you so much for that insight. That intro alone. I was stuck. I was just wondering why your boss at the time could not give you that room to go check up on your dad and everything, and to come back with the right frame of mind to continue working. I think that during COVID, even for companies that were so strict and wanted to see everybody at the job, COVID taught everybody a lesson. And so companies had no option than to implement some of these flexible arrangements to accommodate the situation. And it will interest you to know that post COVID, some companies are still not even ready to make adjustment to some of these flexibility. And so, really, this discussion would still re-echo some of the whys, some of the reasons why we need to really make adjustments in the area of flexibility, etc. So, thank you very much, Esther, for that intro. This program is brought to you by Sedat's HR Consult. Sedat's HR Consult is into all forms of or all kinds of HR consulting activities, from recruitment to performance management, training, compensation, and benefits. Any HR activity you can think of, just think about Sedat's HR Consult and you'll be sorted out. So, over the period, we have brought you various topics in various I mean, we've brought you diverse topics in our HR space and beyond, brought different facilitators to you just so that there could be knowledge sharing in those areas. And I have Esther connected today. I don't know if Esther has introduced herself, but if she hasn't, Esther, you can take a moment to
I have. I've introduced myself already.
you have introduced yourself already. Then let's move
Yes.
straight to the question. So we are looking at our first question. Um, we want to find out what are some of the key strategies that HR leaders can use to balance workforce flexibility with stability in today's rapidly changing work environment. Things are changing. So what are some of the strategies that HR leaders can employ? Thank you, Esther.
Thank you, Kojo, for your question. Balancing flexibility and stability requires the HR managers and leaders to adopt a very proactive approach. They have to embrace a hybrid work model, which will offer a combination of in-office and remote work. This allows flexibility for the team, and it will even help collaboration and performance. It's very important. These days, even when you look at us as people in Ghana, the traffic alone takes so much energy from us. So we can study our work schedules and our work environment and our inputs and outputs and see what are the workflows that can be done remotely. Then we structure. Can we do 2 days of the office space and do 3 days office? Can we do 3 days and do 2 days office? Can we do 1 day and do 2 days office? It's very important to look at it. Maybe we can even start with a pilot that let's use maybe the salespeople. They are not supposed to even come every day. Let's use them. But before we do that, make sure that you develop a policy and socialize it with your team and let them understand why we need to do this and own the policy and understand. There's this company that they provide telco services, this fiber optic and mast that the telcos use. They mount them, service them, and even sell parts. So they started a hybrid without any policy. So people started abusing it. You know you are going to work with hybrid and you left your computer at work. What does it show? It tells that you are going to the house or you are not coming to the office, and the tool you have to work with, you've left it at the office. So what's that signal? That means you are only taking the day off, you are not working. So if policies are in place to make sure that this hybrid work model is well couched and the people understand the reason why we need to embrace this type of work, then they understand and make sure that they perform whilst off site. Then another key strategy we need to use is we have to redefine our performance metrics. You shift from time-based to result-based. These days, especially if you are working with sorry if I will mention them, these Asians, the Lebanese, the Indians, they always want to see you around. For them, if you are not on your seat, whether you are a manager, you are MD, you are whatever, they always want to see you. Some of them. the few that I've seen. But if we redefine the performance metrics to show that it's results we need, not you seeing you. People can come to the office without doing anything.
Absolutely.
Some come, they gossip around, they idle and do nothing. Some even sit behind their computers and they are watching something else. If you don't have proper policies in place as far as your internet and things are concerned, or your social media things are concerned, people come there and they watch TVs, do their own things, and they are not working. But if you shift to result-based assessment, people know that I am to achieve this, then that one is achieved without even the person being around. Then you have to also create a strong communication framework. One thing I've identified in my short journey as a workplace person, I don't think it's short. I started around 2006-7, so it's been a
It's
very
not
long
short
time.
at all. It's not short
Yeah,
at all.
it's been a very long time. My professional journey is very checky, but very, very good to me now, because I glean one from here, one experience from there, then I'm good to go. So we need to create a strong communication framework. The policies that we draft, how do we socialize it? The performance metrics that we have changed, how do you sell it to them? How do they understand? How do you communicate with it to our team? A lot of our team leaders or managers that manage the teams don't even know how to communicate. And one of the things that we are having difficulty to deal with here in our area or in Ghana is training. We see training as waste of time, but it's very, very important. So we need to train our team leads to be able to communicate the frameworks that we set up from time to time with the team. Then this will be able to help stabilize whatever flexibility we are bringing and readjust the performance metrics. It's very important. Adjust performance, you change metrics, then you communicate. Then clear policies is also very important. You define boundaries and expectations around the flexible work that you have to bring around, so that it will be consistent. Then you remove ambiguity and uncertainties from it. It's very important. So those four things, what we do, we communicate well, we establish the clear policies, and we redefine our performance metrics, and redefine or embrace the hybrid work model. We will be able to work well and make sure that we are flexible, we still have a stable workforce to handle. Thank
Praise
you.
God. Yeah, Esther, thank you so much.
My
I think, like I
pleasure.
said earlier on, I think that for even for organizations that have not had they didn't have the chance to, or had not looked ahead to even implement some of these things. When COVID came, everybody had to make adjustment to their working ways, and so some of these things were implemented along the way. Now I want to find out. I want to find out what role does technology play in fostering a more flexible but stable workforce, and how can HR leaders leverage these tools effectively? We are looking at IT, just like you said. Sometimes they are operating the hybrid model, but you have employees leave their laptops at home. So what becomes the expectation there? So what role does technology play in this kind of arrangement? If you can share
Oh,
with us.
today in our lives as people who are working, technology is very, very important and necessary. It's not that it's a second guess or should be something. That is what we have to use. It's very, very, very important. We are doing flexible work. How can you even check on your team? What we are doing right now, we are using technology. The same way people can be in their homes doing hybrid, you can get in touch with them through WhatsApp, call to see them where they are. You can check meets, you want to meet them on meets immediately to know what's happening, and check on them to know their workflow and input and output are immediately on time. So it's very, very important that when our team members are not familiar with the hybrid systems, we train them before we start the program if you want to employ it. It's very, very important. Like you mentioned, during the COVID time, people have to hurry and start doing training. And but for me, those times, because where I was at that time, we have some leverage. We were part of those who were exempted. So we were going to work HR people, HR department in my organization, but some of the departments, we let them go. But those were the time we were trained how to use the collaboration tools. That was the time I learned how to use Zoom very well. That was the time that I learned how to use Microsoft Teams. That was the time that we employ self-service for employees. Very, very important. So we need to train our people how to use the Microsoft Teams, the Zoom, the Slack, and we know them. If you don't, you have to. The cloud-based systems are very, very important to manage everything from onboarding to payroll to performance reviews. Even recently, when I want to do recruitment, the first point of call is I use Zoom to see who I'm speaking to physically, even to a pointer. So like, get up, let me see who you are really, not only sitting down. I want to see you. And it gives us over 70% of accuracy if you use them. So it's very important. Those of us who don't know how to use it, we need to learn. Then there are other things like project management tools like the Trello and Asana and others that we have to teach. And this comes under training and development. And mind you, the law says that we should train and retrain our teams. So in this era that we are becoming global every day, and the competition is becoming very keen, we need to adopt these technologies so that our teams will be versatile, one, competent, or help them do things better. 2, and make our work flexible. 3. So even if somebody is sick and is on admission, and he can use Teams when he's a bit fine and speak to something or send something that he alone has some input to make anytime. But they have to know how to use it before they start using. So we need to train. It's very, very important. Like the HR analytics, this is not even difficult, because if you have the basis, the basic knowledge of it, you can track all your analysis from data, productivity, turnover, and everything. You can use your technology to track it without any issue. So it's very, very important for us to use the technology very well. Those that we are not familiar with, we train ourselves. One other thing I want us to take note of is that our training and development should not only depend on our employers, because I'm a typical level, and in our language, there's an adage they say, 𝐀𝐝𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 defined from your organization, but not from your profession. That is why when we are looking for HR, HR can work anywhere if you have the right experience and the right, if anything, the right skills. You can work in any environment. You are adaptable. So at any point in time, we have to prepare and set a little budget or small budget for our own training in things like this technology that will enhance and facilitate our work. So the need to use technology can never be overemphasized. It's a very, very important tool for us to be flexible. Even look at what we are doing. If I don't know how to use the technology, I won't be able to be at a denta and speaking to you wherever. I don't even know where you are, and we are speaking. So it's very important that we train our teams to be able to, a little money investment in them to be able to be flexible is good, and it will enhance our team's productivity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Esther, for expounding on that. We'll go for a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, we would continue with the questioning. Please, our listeners, we need you to put your comments in the chat box. I'll read all your comments, and then Esther would help us with the answering. We also want to acknowledge your participation in today's session. We have here connected one Michael Kisi. Michael says, I'm watching from Cape Coast. Michael, thank you so much for joining. So keep sharing your comments, your feedback with us. We will take them after the commercial break. So we'll be back shortly. Just stay tuned.
Tropical storms, flooding, wildfires, drought, shrinking fish catch. In a world of ever-increasing uncertainty, nothing is predictable. The smallest stumble or fumble easily ends in a mighty tumble, with your world crashing down around you. Don't crumble. 𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐢𝐬𝐢𝐨 always has your back. 𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐢𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐢, we cushion you for life.
We cushion you for life.
All right, welcome back from that break. I have Josephine connected from. Josephine says, I'm watching from Takoradi. Josephine, thank you so much for joining. To you, Esther. Josephine says, great presentation. Now, um, I know you have already heard about the CDAT HR conference, but let me just take a moment to talk about it. So the CDAT HR conference 2024 is happening in Kumasi, Thursday, 26th September, from 9 o'clock to 4 p.m. You need to register because this conference gives you the opportunity to network with other professionals in the HR space and even CEOs of various businesses. So it's important you register for this program. The registration is just a cool 150 cedis, and you have to register. If you want to register, kindly contact Sedat Consult. You can call Sedat on 0244 629 245, and you'll be sorted out. Again, if you have any HR consulting activities that you are looking forward to, you can always reach out to Sedat's Consult. And then there is also a mentorship program coming up, which is being organized by Sedat. It begins from this month of no, next month, October into September 2025. We all know the importance of some of these mentorship programs. You started your career and you are looking at, so what do I do? How do I even go about it? You need to register with Sedat for this mentorship program. Again, you can contact Sedat on the numbers that you are seeing on your screen. You can also take this number 0591 405 555, and then you'll be able to get through to SEDAT. The other number is 0244629245. So contact SEDAT. Contact SEDAT. We also want to acknowledge our sponsors for the HR conference, SEDAT HR conference. We want to acknowledge Glyco Life Insurance for partnering with us. I mean, Fiman Rural Bank. Thank you so much for joining us, partnering us, sponsoring this program. And then Okante Studios. Thank you so much. We also want to thank Focalink Tech for their sponsorship. Thank you all so much for what you are doing just to support what happens in the HR space. So moving on, Esther, we want to take a few more questions, and then we'll check the comment session as well for any other questions that we need to take. So we are looking at what are the biggest challenges in managing remote or hybrid workforce while maintaining a sense of stability and organizational culture.
To every policy that we use or we develop for managing our teams, there are challenges. For me, one of my philosophies is that life is full of challenges. You solve this one, another one appears. You solve this one, another one appears. That is what we do every day. So even in our workplaces, we all know what we deal with as HR managers and HR leaders. And one of the major challenges that flexibility and adaptability brings along is maintaining of our culture. Because people are somewhere working, it is very, very easy that our organizational culture may be weakened if we don't plan well. So we have to plan. Even today, when you look at multinationals, organizations that have different workforces at different places, people are at regionals, people are at districts, people are at various towns. They don't even know each other, but their workflows, they are interdependent, and their workflows fall into each other's work without even knowing the persons behind those work. And even that one disturbs us. At times you have to call the demeanor of the person behind the phone or at the other end of the telephone call, you don't know. So we are working like that, let alone today that we are adding the virtual work into our workspace. It's very, very important for us to be intentional as far as maintaining our culture is concerned. Because mind you, the individuals that merge, come together in every organization are the organization. So if we have planned that this is the way we want to address each other, we have to make sure that we address it and make sure that even though we are dispersed workforce, we continually and regularly reinforce our company values. It's very, very important. The HR have to regularly reinforce those rules and check on it and make sure that leadership, when we say leadership, a lot of us think that the leadership is the GM, the leadership is only the team leaders or the managers at various departments. Even at your individual department, you, that person who is the cleaner, you are a leader leading yourself. So everybody in that organization, the HR and the team leads have to make sure that they know what our values are. They know how we communicate. They know our team interactions and make sure that that's what is done. If you all agree that we'll call each and everyone Mr., whether the person is high online or offline or at the office or out of office, when you want to address that person, let that come. If it is about sharing logistics, whether the person is in office or out of office, but is still a team member, we have to make sure that everything gets to them and we maintain that culture and values and our mission is work towards. It's very, very important. And you have to know that the team is what achieve our goals and expectations and KPIs, not an individual. So maintaining our culture and value is very important because it will be a challenge if we ignore because somebody comes Monday, somebody comes Friday. So we do things anyhow. No. Then communication gaps is another challenge that if we don't take care, we can lose. Miscommunication can arise among workers when they are not physically present. You have to structure communication protocols. It's very, very important. Using the digital tools that we've talked about as far as the technology, using technology to make sure that stability and flexibility is achieved. So it's very important. You have to structure protocols and use them. It's very, very important. Another thing is that we have to monitor performance because where do we gather? We gather to work towards an objective. And especially for us who are private organizations, we create to share. So when people are not present, what are they doing? So you have to monitor performance. You remember I mentioned earlier that we have to change our metrics. We look at output instead of time. So do you just leave them without monitoring them? If you do that, it will be a challenge that will affect the objective of why you want to bring in flexibility. It's very, very important to look at that. Then the remote workers have to be included. Once in a while, we organize meetings that we all come around and come together. We don't leave anybody out of conversation and development opportunities. And people are also scared that, especially those of us who are women, originally when women go to have their babies, even though you, the men on duty and at present also have your wives working somewhere, and you still want them to have babies for you. But those in your teens, immediately there's a maternity leave, and especially when it continues after 1, maybe 2 years, the person get pregnant again, they overlook such people for promotions and training and development. That's not right. Because we know that our organization are supposed to live forever and the artificial person. So those of us who are giving birth today, we are preparing to equip the organization for tomorrow. So you don't leave us out of, or the women out of promotion and developmental issues because they are doing maybe remote or maybe because they've gone out for maternity leave. You have to include also remote workers when you are planning. And this is the work of the HR. You do the promotions, you have the conversation around developmental opportunities in the organization. So you have to include everybody. And for me, under this question that you've asked, what is very important is the communication gap. Don't leave anybody out. Then the monitoring performance. Because we all know that whatever is not inspected or supervised is not get done. And even the logistics that you've given to them, you have to make sure that they take proper care of it because even the law says that you have to take very good care of them. Your organizations or companies, logistics that are with you. So people don't keep their computers in the house and within 3 months they come and sell a sport. That is why they are not able to perform their roles. That is why you need to set a very great and workable policy in place before you set in with hybrid work or if you want to do flexibility work schedule. It's very important. Monitoring performance can be a problem. Communication gap can be a problem. Inclusion of the remote workers is also very important. You have to. Other than that, it will be a challenge that will push the policy outside and you have to bring everybody on board and the problem that we sought to solve might not be solved.
Thank you, Esther. You spoke a bit about training. Now, um, again, I just want to re-echo some of the things that you said. It's really important because when you have to um, begin this flexible or remote working arrangements, it's really important that the employees are made to go through some sort of training, even supervisors, on how they are going to manage their team members remotely, because the conditions are not the same if you were managing your team members at the office space, just like it happened during COVID. And so, for employees who have not gone through proper training programs, to know how even they had to work and how they had to report, and even in terms of working hours for them, all of those things, they didn't really know what to do for some of them. And so it's important that, like you said, some sort of training program is organized, and then the people are made to go through. In fact, I remember that during COVID, because we had to connect to our office machines, even though we were home, there were some applications that were installed on our machines just to ensure that things that border around information security issues and all of those things were checked. It doesn't become a platform for just do whatever you want to do. So all of those logistics and all of that were put in place, and it's really important you emphasize on that. I want to find out, are there any other things that L&D professionals can do in creating a workforce that is both adaptable and resilient to this kind of change?
Yeah, one thing we should also know is that when we are dealing with things like this, we don't use any template at all. We look at the specifics of every organization or where you are. Things that will work for you is what you have to adapt. That is one. Then secondly, the training, the L&D professionals or training professionals play a very vital role in introduction of every new policy or any new work culture we want to integrate into our existing system. Like you mentioned, if you don't know how to do it, you don't know how to do it. And you need to upskill your team and reskill. We need to learn and unlearn. Continuous learning culture is very, very important for every organization. That is why the L&D professionals are there. Every time they are looking at the gaps, they are doing the need analysis. That is why I am even happy that it's part of the HR department. With collaboration with the departmental heads, you'll be able to identify the gaps that you need to fill with your training and development. And the L&D professional is very, very key in this regard. But unfortunately, if you look at our area, I don't know how many organizations that have a separate L&D department. A lot of us are generalists, but even that, we have to collaborate with our team leads to be able to do the learning needs assessment very well and keep on file. And anytime we want to introduce any new thing, those that we can't handle, we look for outside resource persons to train our team so that they'll be able to do the work. Not only training for nothing. Some of our trainers, we want, especially the few things I've seen, we want big names, but they don't have the capacity. So you have to be sure that you look for somebody who have the skill to impart, who have the knowledge to impart as far as whatever you want to, not only the virtual things or the things with regards to flexibility, any impartation, any learning opportunity, any developmental opportunity you want to give your team, make sure that you give that responsibility to the right person who will be able to impart that knowledge that will affect your team and bridge that gap you sought to. There's this organization, I don't know whether they still come to Ghana. They are South African based. They call them business communication. I got to know them when I was in the previous working environment with an HR consulting firm. They are in South Africa, but they work in all the African countries. They will look for businesses and come there and bring 1, 2 resource persons from South Africa. And when they get to the host country, then they'll look for the professionals there to do the training. So they call for, I think it was even a public training plus 2, 3, 4 organizations sign up to it, and they came. They did the training at a Regency Hotel at the Spanner Junction, the hotel we normally call Kufuor Hotel. So they invited my boss, and unfortunately, he had an emergency to go to Kumasi, so he couldn't attend. Then the next in command, they gave the role to say he can't go. So fortunately, I have another colleague at the office, Esther. We can do this. You can. Let's go. So we agree and went. When the participants saw us, 1 were 2 ladies. 3, the advert says or said they were bringing people from South Africa to come and do the training. So they didn't like our presence. That day, I nearly left the training because we were supposed to do the training. It will be at 10 after lunch. So during lunch, they were, is this my boss? They want to come in here, and South Africans. And I bet you when the South African resource person was training, sorry for my word, non-sila. Meanwhile, we have Ghanaians who are better. And he doesn't even know the Ghanaian labor law. He doesn't know anything. Oh, and there was nothing international to bring to the table. Everybody was disappointed. Plus the 2 ladies that are my friend and myself, who are going to board them again after lunch. But thank God for good friend. She said, let's go, we'll do it. At least she was there to give me the morale I needed. So after lunch, when I took the podium, I was so happy. They clapped for me. They gave me standing ovation. And I don't know why we don't value things we have. When we close, up to today, I still have 2, 3 guys from that training that give me joy.
Wow.
So it's not a matter of somebody having international reputation or claim he has. We have to make sure that we look for the right person to teach, train, and impart knowledge in the area we are looking to skill or unskill our team. It's very, very important. So that is it. Then secondly, leadership development is very important. We have to equip our managers with the skills to lead flexible teams. Leading flexible teams is not a joke, and it's not been part of and it's not been part of our things from the beginning. So we need to train our managers, such as they'll be able to lead the remote thing. And it's very, very important that we need to add emotional intelligence. How to manage that is very also. It's also very important that emotional intelligence and how to manage remote teams is very important. Then we have to encourage innovation. A lot of us, we are stuck in the old ways to do things. So a little new, we don't want change for anything. So we need to foster a learning environment and encourage initiatives and innovation for our workers to be able to be safe and free to try new things so that it will grow, because whether we like it or not, the world is evolving. And with this, even if you have Android phone, you can learn anything if you want to. So our team, they are on the floor, they are on the ground, they are in touch of customers and even the raw materials. So they know what is workable and what is not workable. So we have to encourage innovation and train our team and build that culture of continuous learning for our team to be able to play around the new things that come. Then the L&D professional too will be good to go, because if the team meets the meets while we train them, then we are not call center only. We are now strategic partners.
Thank
Thank
you. Thank
you.
you so much, Effa. It's the I think the impact L&D space can make in this regard can be very, very tremendous. In the sense that even with regards to the area of digital transformation, so much is happening. And so for those of us digital professionals, we really have to embrace the ongoing
Kojo, you are breaking.
discussion on digital transformation. And even we can help our team members bring their minds to what is happening in the digital space. But it looks like day in, day out, looking at things, new ways of working, new ways of doing things day in, day out. And so it's really important that our people are prepared ahead of time. So that when they experience some of these even disruptions, they become very resilient to these disruptions because they would have been prepared by the L&D space. They would have been prepared by the company. They would have been prepared by their business to be able to withstand some of these things and still be able to um, be productive, be effective. So, Esther, thank you very, very much for that. My final question borders around how HR leaders, how HR professionals can ensure that flexible work arrangements don't lead to employee burnout or work-life balance. You know, when it comes to one thing about flexible working hours is that it looks like there is no starting time, there is no closing time. And again, I remember COVID, even by 6 a.m., work has started, you are home, and then the next thing is that you want to pick your laptop because there are some deliverables you need to work on. And then you don't wait till 8 o'clock or 8:30, whatever your working time begins to start. You begin from 6 o'clock or maybe earlier. Sometimes even after 5 o'clock, you are still working because there are some deadlines and some deliverables you need to work on just to meet those deadlines. So how do we ensure that some of these things are sorted out, because then there is no opening time or starting time, and there is no closing time. A lot of people are made to wake up at dawn to work on a few things because there are some timelines and all of that that they need to meet. But we also have to remember that employees' work-life balance is very important. Time to spend with families, time for themselves, etc., is very important. And so, how are we going to help as HR professionals to get our team balance their work and their life, and also deliver, in the business space? We have just a few more minutes. So, Esther, if you can run us through that, thank you.
Oh, okay. You know, when you were speaking, I'm just smiling, or I was just smiling because there's a saying that experience is the best teacher. When you haven't worked hybrid before or worked from home before, you think those who work from home are in comfort or they are in luxury, they have a luxury of time and they are home. And until I started working from home myself, at times 6 o'clock is too late. You start 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Immediately you wake up, you remember something. You want to put it on the dashboard. Immediately they get to the office, they look at it. So it's very, very important that we take our work-life balance seriously as those who work from home. And the HR must ensure that we don't assume. A lot of the time we assume that he knows that he's at home, but he has to deliver and make sure that he does all he needs to do for his mental health and balance his thing. But no, we have to let them know, teach. Until I entered the manufacturing space, I didn't understand when we were taught briefing, morning briefing, shift briefing. Every morning when you get to the factory floor, the supervisors, the managers are doing their briefing before the shift starts, just to remind them. Forget it one day and see what will happen. So as HRs, even though you might be working with people who are white collars, you think they are graduates, they have masters, they are this, they are professionals, so they know what to do. No, we have to encourage our workers to set clear work hours and take regular breaks to prevents overwork. It's very, very important. So check on your team maybe once a week, twice a week to let them know that they need to establish boundaries. And this can be part of the policy that you have provided for the hybrid that you socialize with them and give them training on. So you establish that with them that you need to establish your working hours. Because if you are not careful, you'll be at home, but your health will be affected. And we know that we don't have to sit for a long time without getting up. But if you are not careful, you are working behind your computer, you can sit for hours without knowing that you need to get up. In the office space, maybe somebody might come and knock at your door. There are others, especially if you have a workstation, people are distracted, so you can even raise your head. Somebody will want to go for lunch, so you also are reminded that there's a lunch time. But in your home, when your kids have gone to school, your wife or husband might have gone to his workplace and you are alone, you sit from maybe 6 o'clock before you say, Jack, it's dinner time. So establish boundaries, then provide mental health support. Offering access to counseling services or mental health resources can help your workers to cope with challenges of remote work. Fortunately or unfortunately, our environment and mental health is something else. But thank God these days we are learning a little about mental health. So it's very important we check all that and add it to our work things and add it to the things that we talk about as far as work-life balance is concerned. Then you monitor workload. HR should track workloads to ensure that flexible work doesn't result in workers feeling pressured to be constantly available, like you said, because there's something you need to send to your supervisor or manager or put onto the dashboard or the system for people to see you are always busy working. No, monitor the workload as an HR, and if the person is working too much, you let him press the brake and relax. You can even set every 2 hours you need to get up. So whilst you are in your remote somewhere else, you check on the person to see where the person is remotely and know whether he is taking the times off that we have established. It's very, very important. Then you encourage the time off, like I've mentioned already. So these few things will help us make sure that the work-life balance of employees are ensured during the hybrid program. Thank you, 𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐨.
All right. I think the time has come. Let's check if there are any comments. So, viewers, if there are any questions you want to ask Esther, we are ready to take them. We'll give ourselves just some few minutes to take any question there is. While we await that, let me take a few announcements. Again, I want to remind you, maybe you are just joining this program. I want to remind you that CDAT HR Conference 2024 is happening um, this September 26th, the Thursday. We are having it in Kumasi. The program is an all-day program. It begins from 9 o'clock and it closes at 4 p.m. You get the opportunity to interact with other people in the HR space and beyond. We have Mr. Samuel Kwesi Techi. He's the general manager for Asante Gold. He's coming for this training, this network program or this conference. We have Cynthia Kudo. Cynthia is the president for HR Network Africa. She's also the country manager of BTL Marketing Solutions. She's coming for this program. Remember when we had to launch the HR digest program? We had to launch it. Cynthia was there and she did an amazing presentation. We have 𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐨. Kojo is the group head of HR and admin for Bank of Africa. And then, of course, we have our own Yvonne Redu at Fably. Um, these are seasoned HR professionals and CEOs and managing country managers who have a lot of exposure in the HR space and people management. You really don't want to miss this conference, and I wish that you register today. It's just a cool 150 Ghana cedis, and you can be part of this program. Reach CDAT consult on 0244 or 059 140 5555. And then again, the mentorship program. Maybe you have begun your career in HR, or you want to even be a mentor in this program. Reach out to CDAT consult. I want to repeat the number 0591 405 555, and then you can have discussions with CDAT. This program is a 1 year program. It begins from October 2024 to September 2025, and you really want to be part of it, especially for those that want to be mentees. You'll be paired with some mentors who will guide you throughout this 1 year, and trust me, it's going to be an experience. It's going to be an experience. Again, we want to thank our sponsors for HR Conference 2024, which is happening in Kumasi. We have 𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐨 Life Insurance, all your life insurance policies. You can't look anywhere else. Just take it to 𝐀𝐻𝐸𝐿. 𝐀𝐻𝐸𝐿 will sort you out. And then we have Amenfiman Rural Bank. Thank you so much, Amenfiman Rural Bank, Okanti Studios, and then PokerLink Tech. We want to thank you all so much for joining us in this HR conference by way of sponsorship. Again, we want to thank Esther so much. Esther, thank you for sharing all this information with us for free. For free. Thank you so much. We have picked so much from you. And if there are some business heads or business owners here, of course, HR professionals, I'm sure they've noted all that you've shared with us, and they will go back to their businesses and implement. If you have now begun your company, or you are a startup, like she said, you always have to look at the environment within which you exist and look at what is possible to implement in your space. So these things are not generic. You always have to look at what you can do within your space, what exists there, and what can be done within your space. And she spoke about it. But again, I'm sure you've taken a lot of cues when it comes to some of these flexible arrangements. We also want to acknowledge our participants for making out some time to be part of this discussion. You do it for us every weekend, and you've done it again. Thank you so much. CDAT Consult, we thank you for always bringing these episodes our way and helping us to share knowledge every weekend. Esther, your final words, and then we can say bye-bye and go offline.
Okay. I want to say thank you to everyone on call for your time and your attention. But to achieve a balance between flexibility and stability in today's workforce is crucial to both the organization and the individual's well-being. Or if I say individual, the workers or your employees' well-being. So as HR leaders, you play a pivotal role or vital role in shaping this dynamic. So we need to implement our policy thoughtfully and make sure that we strategize according to our individual company needs. And as we grow, we know in our environment, networking is what builds us. So thank God for the HR network. Thank God for the CDAT network. We are around there. So if you have any need for assistance or help, we are there to give you that hand. And together we grow ourselves individually and our companies and our country. Thank you very much for having me say that. I'm grateful. As I share, I learn more. So thank you, 𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐨, for hosting.
Thank you so much. And then to the technical team for all the background work, thank you very much. So until we meet again, cherished participants, until we meet again, it's bye-bye for now. Enjoy the rest of the weekend and have a great week ahead.
Bye.
Tropical storms, flooding, wildfires, drought, shrinking fish catch. In a world of ever-increasing uncertainty, nothing is predictable. The smallest stumble or fumble easily ends in a mighty tumble, with your world crashing down around you. Don't crumble. 𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐨𝐧 always has your back. 𝐀𝐾𝐲, we cushion you for life.
𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐢𝐬𝐢𝐲, we cushion you for life.